Hey there, I'm Danu, pleased to meet you. Let me show you one of my favorite books. This is Houses with a Story by Yoshida Seiji, and it's written entirely in Japanese. I personally can't actually read any of it, but that hasn't stopped me from spending hours staring at every single page. Today I want to recreate one of these incredible illustrations inside of Minecraft, which might present a few challenges since I've never built directly from a reference before. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we need to pick a subject, so I called up my #1 undisputed best friend of all time to help me make the decision. You may remember this book.
I do.
I bookmarked a few that I like, but I was having a hard time picking one, so I was hoping you could help me.
I'm the decider, so I can do that.
And it really seemed like they had a favorite right away. Next up is a lighthouse.
Okay, I always rock with the lighthouse. I think that they're kind of striking to look at, and this one's kind of small and quaint, and it's kind of cute.
Yeah, I like this one because lighthouses are super common in Minecraft, but this one feels more unique because it's got this side area with the blue roof as well.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Next up, a little boat.
That is really cool.
It might be a little too simple to make like a whole video out of.
I like the idea of that being an add-on of like another house. Like, you know how they have like those tall, like those houses on stilts when they're next to water?
I could do this one with the lighthouse pretty easily.
Oh.
They would go together well.
Ooh, I do kind of like that idea.
So it's not super surprising then that when we did our elimination bracket, this is how they decided. Number 4.
Yeah.
Yes, that was fast. That was quick.
Yeah, I just rock with lighthouses though.
So let's get started. And I think I might have found the perfect location to build a nice little lighthouse. And while I fly over, maybe the editor can put in a quick tour of the world to get you all familiar. All right, everybody, welcome to my Minecraft server. We've got all the classics, the crowded spawn area, the quote-unquote industrial district, the bridge that got almost 10 million views, which is crazy. And of course, you gotta have the abandoned superstructure left behind by someone's 2-week Minecraft phase. And I'm sitting at about 180 hours of playtime after recording this video, which I think is about 60 more than I had before, so please subscribe. So first up, what I think we should do is start by terraforming the island. Give ourselves a good base to work off of. And I can tell you right away that there are no trees on this little island. Okay, with that tree gone, I stood there for 10 minutes waiting for it to disappear for the time-lapse shot. Should be pretty easy. It's just a bunch of rocks. I know I just said it was easy, but to be honest, terraforming was a little bit intimidating for me. I built a lot of houses, but not a lot of mountains, if that makes sense. I also had to take a little creative freedom here since the book doesn't show the island the lighthouse is sitting on in much detail. To keep it simple for myself, I just built up a bunch of these 2x2 boulders and offset them a little bit to not look too uniform. Here we are, guys. There is one last bit of life and vegetation on this entire island, and we are about to snuff it out. This took longer than I thought it would. At the start, it felt really fast, and then towards the middle, it slowed down, and then towards the end, it kind of sped back up again. But it's done now, and that's the thing that matters most. So later in the project, I'll definitely go back and add more details to all of this, make it a little less, I don't know, random and blocky, but I think we should have the boat on one side of the island and then maybe build a path leading up to the lighthouse on the other side. We have our lighthouse over there, a path leading over along this way through all these rocks, and then the boat slip can be right over here. All right, let's do it. Building the boat was the first time I got to really dig into the illustrations for this project. I really wanted to capture the sort of ramshackle vibe of the original and mimic this unique sort of pumpkin seed shape. Getting that kind of detail in game while keeping the build the right size was a real challenge though, especially with this copper roof. I had to rebuild this thing like 3 separate times before I was satisfied with it. And after a while, I started to get frustrated with all the details. I got really close to just calling it done so I could move on to the lighthouse. But yeah, taking a step back, it was wonky and missing a lot of elements from the original. There's no overhang on the side, there's no rope poles, the color all looks way too flat, and this roof is, even after rebuilding it, still not good enough. Sometimes when you're down in the trenches with a project, it gets really difficult to see all the things you're missing. So I called a friend. My absolute #1 undisputed best friend of all time, in fact. And with a little help from them, I think I was really able to bring this build to life. And here we are inside of the boat. This took me a few hours to get down right, and I had to call in my best friend for a little bit of advice near the end. But I am super proud of the final result. I think it's super close to how it looks in the book. And as a little extra surprise for you, that's actually not all that I've done. I still think I could go back and do a little more work on this, but I've smoothed out a lot of the rocks to make it a little less jagged, and I've added this gravel path going from our boat over there over to the foundation for our lighthouse right over here. You can see I've laid out the basic floor plan here, for the first floor anyway, and in the drawing I noticed there was almost this baseboard around the bottom of the lighthouse where you could walk around and look at the sea. So I made sure to include that on these half slabs, which I think has a really nice effect. And then right on top of that, we're just gonna go ahead and start placing in mushroom stems. Thanks to this overhead diagram view, we can see where all the windows are. So let's try and plan around that. Looks like there's a window in both of these rooms, as well as in the dining room on 2 sides, and 2 windows on this wall and a window on this wall. And then it looks like no windows on the rest of this first floor, except for right here, actually. So now that we've built this first floor out of mushroom stem, I'm kind of wondering if it was the wrong choice. It's maybe a bit too dark and a bit too muddy looking, I guess. And I'll be honest, it's kind of just a pain to build with mushroom stem, because if I misplace a single block and then I have to break it, then I have to break all the blocks around it in order to fix it. That wasn't scripted, by the way. I actually messed it up on the way out and had to fix it again. So what I'm wondering is if a block like calcite might be a better pick. And right away, I think yes. We will still use some mushroom stem though. I think it's very good for creating detail and maybe parts of the build that we want to look a little more dirty. Wait a second. Wait a second. So I was just going around putting the windows in on the walls, and you might remember there was one here. But I've just noticed that this window conspicuously changes places from here to here, depending on which page of the book you're looking at. I think it will probably look better if we put the window here. I'm on to you, Mr. Illustrator. I see your tricks. Oh, it is so exciting to fly into the island and see something on it. It brings me back to life. Just to make it easier to get around, I'm going to go ahead and build the staircase in here as well, which we can see starts here. Oh, okay, I'm looking at the diagram and it looks like there is actually also a basement layer beneath the lighthouse. So I guess that's something we should account for as well. And then we'll reach the second floor about here, which is maybe even a bit early, so we should slow down our ascent. Okay, now we went up a little bit too slow. It's gonna be really about finding a balance here. I also really want this staircase to feel like it's spinning around as it goes up. And right now, it feels a little bit too boxy. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit carried away on details and try and create the armrest going up. Armrest? Handrail. I'm gonna create a handrail going up. And now we have a beautiful way to get from the first floor up to the second. Okay, that's it. Enough stalling. I can't keep looking at this every time I go to sleep in my bed. So, we're gonna start on the roof because that will bring a lot of the texture into this. So we can see that it's kind of a very steep slope at first, and then there's this rim line, and then it comes to a shallower slope when it meets in the middle. I have to make sure that I get absolutely every block of this copper because there is none to waste. This is going to look really funny from the third This is going to look really funny from the third person perspective of me jumping down over and over again to get fallen copper blocks. Okay, so roofs might be my biggest weakness in Minecraft. This part drove me completely crazy. I couldn't do these slopes for the life of me. Everything that I did felt too curved, I think, mostly. And then there's also these white windows, and I don't have any idea how to make that work, so I give up. For now. Sometimes you just have to let things be and come back to them later. So I'm going to channel that energy and start working on the tower. Now, we've done the entire bottom white section. You can see that it really only goes up to the top of the roof line, which is only a couple more blocks. And then from there, it transitions into the red terracotta. Now, a lot of lighthouses have kind of a barbershop pole pattern to them, but this one is just plain stripes. And you can see that there's actually really only one stripe of red, which I have way more terracotta than I need. It does, though, have a couple of windows. So we've got kind of a triangle of windows on the red floor. And then we're back to white for just a couple more blocks, and then we're at the top of the tower. I think maybe 3 blocks. 3 blocks of white. Does it match the proportions? Okay, I did forget that lighthouses kind of taper inwards. So right now we have a cylinder. We should probably lean it in a little bit. And I got a little bit carried away on this part. After struggling with that roof for hours, I think I needed to do something complete in order to get my confidence back. So instead of just tapering in the walls like I said I was going to do, I went ahead and did all the detail for the tower. I tried to keep my shading underneath the windows a little darker to almost look like these stains that you can see in the original illustration. And I did a similar thing with these buttons, just trying to match it as close as I can, getting in all those little details. I can't lie, I got a little bit carried away doing all of this texture work on this tower, but I think that it finally looks really quite nice. We are getting super close to the end of the project though. There's really only 3 things left on my to-do list. Fixing this admittedly god-awful roof, texturing everything, and then taking a stab at the interiors. Now, I'm not going to be a perfectionist with those because I know I'm not going to be able to get the same level of detail as the original drawings. But I do think it would be fun to come in and try and replicate it as closely as we can. You might notice, though, we're actually missing maybe the most important part of the lighthouse still. We're going to leave that until the very end of the project. So for the wall textures, I ended up using a lot more quartz than I did on the tower because it's actually a different texture. I didn't realize that when I first looked at the book, but yeah, subtly, it's different. And I think that's really the magical thing about making this video, is that I learn more and more about this book and about this particular illustration the longer I work on it. I also noticed that the brick texture doesn't cover the whole wall in the original drawing, probably as a style thing, so I tried to replicate that by only using quartz brick in a few spots. I hope it worked. And with that, the texturing is all done for the walls of this build. Hopefully I talked all about it in the time lapse, but there's one little detail that I really want to show off that I think came out very nice, which is just this stone button right here. Oh. And I think that, as small as it is, really adds a ton to this side of the build, because it just gets us that little bit closer to a faithful recreation. And I am so excited to get to work on this roof, so I am gonna get to work. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty good diving back into this roof after, in my opinion, killing it on the walls and the tower. And after trying quite a few more things, I finally got these slopes to line up. By the end of it, you can clearly distinguish the steep slope from the shallow slope, and that was hard. And I discovered that I could use fences to mimic the windows really well. So in the end, I am very proud of this roof. The roof is done. I'm so excited to show it to you. The roof is done. I'm sure I already talked so much about it in the time lapse, but I just want to gush a little bit because I am so proud of this roof. When I was adding in all of these wear patterns, I kind of tried to make it look like they actually connected, right? So you have a worn part here and it connects through the white to up here. And this chimney, oh my gosh, I used candles for the first time. I've never used candles before. And it works perfectly to create these 2 little smokestacks that you can see in the original drawing. And one last detail that I'm going to talk about, this little white rim, which from the top, maybe it looks a little dramatic, but from down here, I think it really gives you the effect that you can see in the drawing of this white trim between the levels of the copper. So yeah, that's the best roof that I've ever built in Minecraft, in my opinion. Please be nice about it. And now we're moving on to something that's probably going to humble me a little bit, because I have never really tried to build an interior in Minecraft before, so we'll see how this goes. So for the next segment, I forgot to record my microphone, so I'm going to do my best to recreate it in post. Oh, how am I possibly going to fit a carpet in here? Okay, I did such a good job. Ooh, but there's a table and a cabinet under the stairs. Wait a minute, everybody. I'm goated. I think this single button literally changed my entire life. Okay, but which way should I put this door? Maybe like this, but no, that doesn't look quite right. What about this? No, not it. Maybe if I place it this way? No, it doesn't close the right direction. What about this? I just don't know, guys. Which way should I place this door? Yeah, you know what? Actually, that looks pretty good. No, actually, I hate it. This looks bad, but I know I'm going to secretly add armor stands later, so I'll just cut it out of the video. I should go ahead and pre-age these copper doors so that they look right while I build with them. Yeah, I guess I'll kill myself. I hope that was enjoyable, but let's get back to serious business. And we're on to our last room of the first floor, which is maybe the most important. This hallway is the area that's going to see the most foot traffic, and right now, it's the most bland, so let's give this thing a real makeover. Starting right in this corner, you can see there's a little cabinet shelf that looks kind of oak-ish, so let's put that in. What do we think of that? That looks pretty good, right? I'm pretty happy with that. And there is a painting right on top, so let's make sure we don't forget that. In the illustration, all of the paintings are white, but I think it's going to look a little bit boring if we follow that to a T, so we'll put a beautiful sunset in. And there's this spot right here where it doesn't really look like there's a painting, but I'm not sure what that is. It's like an electrical box, actually, is probably what it is. I'm trying to think of gray blocks in Minecraft that would work here. And weirdly, I'm not thinking of one, even though if you actually look at the Minecraft block palette, it's like mostly gray. Maybe we could use an iron trapdoor, but then the problem is going to be finding a way to keep it open. We have to power it somehow. Iron trapdoor open without power. This video is from 2016. How likely do we think it is that this is going to put that trapdoor against that wall and keep it powered? I'm not feeling confident, but here we go. Worth a try. I really did not expect this to be the hardest part of designing this. There's also like a little sub panel above, which is like just bullying. Okay. I have one idea. I have one single idea, and I don't love it, but it would solve both our main electrical box problem and our sub box problem. Huh? Thoughts? What do we think? Does that work? Does that do the job? Does that do the trick? I'm happy with that. I'm gonna give that a pass. Also, yes, I did have to make another iron trapdoor because I threw the other one in the ocean. And now enjoy my reaction to discovering the strangest part of this floor plan. So to go to the bathroom, you would have to get up out of your bedroom, go down the hallway, go in here, and then go in here. And there's going to be another door here. The layout feels like absolute nonsense, but that's what is shown in the diagram. That's what we're going to make. Gosh darn it. That's such a weird layout. I cannot compute it in my mind. Maybe it's like a thing where like the sink is here, right? Maybe the sink is out here. That feels like the only way that this makes any sense. All right, since we keep talking about it, I am going to say let's start with these two rooms. And this part seems easier, so I'm just going to put down a cauldron and a chiseled bookshelf and say that that is our bathroom. Let me fill this with water. There we go. That creates the feeling of a sink, I think, anyway. And then on to the harder of the two rooms. First of all, we can break down this wall in between them and replace that with these cut copper, which actually kind of look perfect, I think. This, I think, clearly looks like a bathtub, and this clearly looks like a toilet. And it's maybe a little cramped in here, but it works. And so we're on to the final part of this interior, this hallway. So with this placed in, I'm pretty happy to say that we're done. Except for, well, this part. I picked up Houses with a Story last summer on my first vacation trip with my absolute #1 undisputed best friend of all time. When the idea for this video first came to me, I didn't know it yet, but this project is absolutely dedicated to them. I tend to isolate myself in my creative pursuits. My best friend could certainly attest to that. But I'm slowly learning that the best ideas come when you reach out. When you ask for ideas, for help, for feedback, and even for validation. This video isn't over, but it's my last chance to talk directly to you. So, thank you genuinely so much for watching.
Oh, your cute little skin.
I wonder who would be talented enough to make such a cute skin. Okay, you're gonna see it here pretty soon.
Okay. Ooh. I also don't have my glasses on, so I can't see it super well yet, so it looks so cool. It looks so bright. I need to look at everything up close. It's cool. Oh, you used the new shelf thingies.
Yeah!
Oh, I haven't seen them yet in the game.
Please walk around, do whatever you like.
Yeah.
I'll follow you now.
Oh, this is so cute. And I like how you did these, like these guards.
Thank you, yes.
Dude, the freaking little chimney is awesome.
Thank you! I was so proud of the chimney.
How cute! Wait, how'd you make them lay down?
So these are armor stands.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Yeah, armor stands do a lot.
Right? They let you do a lot more detail that you wouldn't be able to get without them. Makes it feel very lived in.
What would this red bit be on the wall?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was, so I just kind of took a guess.
My red wool that I keep on my wall. Oh, I love my little nook down here where I eat dinner all by myself and under the stairs because no one likes me. Should I wait to go upstairs so I don't get everything done here?
Yeah, wait to go upstairs, but there is one more thing in that room for you to find.
Do I hit the carpet?
Yeah, you can break the carpet. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
In the original art piece, this is visible from like this cross-section view, and it's labeled with just a question mark.
Oh.
You can decide which way to go.
Okay, I'm already here. Oh! Grandma's urn.
That's crazy.
Is this a bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh! We got a little bath?
Yes.
Hey, you can't come in here, dude.
Oh, so sorry. Sumimasen.
You picked a good location. It's kind of interesting things to look at every... Oh, well...
If you jump down, they'll all fly away.
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite builds you've ever made. Like, it's really cool.
Thank you!
You have to show me what it looks like with shaders on your screen.
You should have shaders, if you want to turn them on.
Oh my god, this is crazy! It looks like a super serene and kind of foggy. Oh, you got little candles on top of your chimney.
Yes! Out of 5 stars?
6.
6?
But if we're being like the most unbiased person in the world, like 4.8.
I will take a 4.8.
Yeah.
Did you see that dolphin, by the way?